Welcome to PTM News Star channel. Please subscribe to us to update the latest information of the day. Our news today includes the following information: the quiet beginning of a special connection, not from a TV series nor from a popular variety show. The first connection between Meimei and Yulong began from a small-scale charity event organized by a non-profit organization specializing in wildlife protection. They were not arranged to stand next to each other, nor did they share the stage and name. The two were separate representatives invited from different fields, Meimei with the title of Media Ambassador and Yulong as the honorary spokesperson. However, a moment captured by a freelance photographer's lens unintentionally raised all the suspicions. Meimei's gaze towards Yulong, not loudly, not intentionally, carried a layer of silent emotion that made the viewers' hearts flutter. The photo went viral, not because of the outstanding appearance or outfit, but because of the undisguised sincerity in her expression. Meimei is reserved and rarely shows emotions, especially in public. During her more than 10 years of artistic activities, she has always kept a clear distance from her male colleagues. That's why that moment became even more precious, not only the look but also the way she tilted her head slightly, the fleeting smile as light as smoke, and the silence that many people believe is due to emotion. People don't need words to understand. Between them, there seems to be something nameless, a connection beyond words. Not long after the event, when asked about the ceremony, Yulong answered in an interview, "I didn't think I would be impressed with anyone at that time, but there was someone who surprised me because of her silence and very different look." She didn't need to say much, but she was still able to convey emotions. A series of questionable coincidences followed that first appearance. The online community began to pay more attention to both of them, and they didn't have to wait long to notice the inexplicable coincidences, seemingly innocuous details, but when placed side by side, they became clues that couldn't be ignored. Meimei posted a photo checking in at an old bookstore in Deepening, an unknown, quiet place that artists rarely choose to check in. A week later, Yulong was also at the same place with a photo taken from a similar angle, with the caption "A quiet day between wind and books." Fans immediately combined the two photos, discovering that the light in the photos was strangely similar, as if they were taken at the same time, at the same moment. No one knows if they went together, but the atmosphere in the photos is too similar: the pale yellow light, old books, and a cup of dried flower tea. Some astute fans also noticed that Meimei had mentioned the bookstore in an old story in 2019, while Yulong had revealed that he liked spaces with the smell of old paper and the silence of time. Similarly, the hoodie that Yulong wore when leaving the set, ash gray, loose-fitting, also unexpectedly appeared in a behind-the-scenes video of Meimei just a few days later. Fans compared every stitch, every fold, and were almost certain that it was the same one. Not only that, Meimei had also used a bottle of Diptyque Velocicus perfume, a signature scent of figs and wood, while Yulong later described his favorite scent as sweet, moist, and nostalgic. They started sharing the same songs on Livestream, indie music from Europe, not popular among young people, making people even more suspicious. Either they have the same extremely rare taste in music, or they're sharing playlists with each other. Fans of both formed a separate group, specializing in scrutinizing every small detail. They jokingly called it the invisible flow connecting Meimei and Yulong, a flow that insiders did not say, but fans always clearly felt. All those details, which were separate and not outstanding, but when strung together, they formed a silent emotional map between two people who lived a private life, shared little, but had a separate language that did not need to be spoken out loud. When the eyes could not be hidden, in a year-end entertainment program, Meimei and Yulong attended for the first time as guests. They did not sit next to each other, nor did they talk openly, but just the moment the camera panned over, their eyes met for a split second, causing the online community to explode. A look that, according to fans, didn't need to touch, just a glance was enough to change the atmosphere. Netizens analyzed every moment, every small change in their facial expressions when they saw each other, a little shy, a little surprised, but ultimately an unconcealable warmth. When the reporter asked Yulong about the definition of friendship, he replied, "It's when two people can still think about each other even without saying a word." That sentence quickly spread on social media. A day later, Meimei posted a blurry photo taken through a rain-stained window with a caption, "Without saying, but still understand." No one knows if that was a response, but fans believe that they were talking to each other through the screen with private metaphors, small but meaningful actions. At a movie premiere in which Meimei participated as the female lead, Yulong suddenly appeared in the audience. He did not speak, did not go on stage, but the backstage camera caught the moment when he held a small bouquet of flowers, silently giving it to Meimei's assistant after the screening. Another time, when Yulong was sick and had to be temporarily hospitalized due to overwork, people saw Meimei absent from the event she always attended every year. There was no explanation, no statement, but then in a fan clip filmed at the hospital, a figure wearing a baseball cap and a mask that looked very much like Meimei hurried out of the back door of the hospital where Yulong was being treated. When silence speaks louder than any confirmation, up to now, both Meimei and Yulong have neither spoken out about their relationship. There is no confirmation nor denial. On TV shows, they still appear as individuals. On social media, they do not interact publicly. But that is what makes fans believe even more, because if there is nothing, then why do they need to be so silent? Silence can be their way of protecting each other. It can also be a gentle but profound form of recognition. In the midst of the noisy showbiz, silence can be an expression of the most respect and sincerity. Friendship or hidden love. The line between friendship and love is sometimes so thin that it cannot be clearly distinguished. With Meimei and Yulong, that line seems to have been blurred by the understanding, sympathy, and silent care they have for each other. Without holding hands, without needing sentimental status lines, they still make the whole community wonder, are these really just friends? And perhaps, it is the fact that the relationship is not named that makes it more beautiful than ever. What do fans say when faith surpasses reason? On forums, comments like "I don't need them to go public, as long as they still silently care for each other like that is enough" appear more and more. A fan wrote, "I don't believe in love in showbiz, but the way Meimei looks at Yulong makes me believe that there is a kind of attachment that goes beyond all definitions. It is that silence and subtlety that makes the connection between them become more special in the hearts of fans, like a hidden gem. Just a little bit revealed is enough to make people's hearts flutter." No one knows what will happen. Maybe they will always be friends. Maybe they will go public one day. Maybe they will keep that relationship to themselves like a beautiful secret in the noisy world. But what is certain is Meimei and Yulong have left an indelible image in the public's heart of two people who do not need to show off, do not need tricks, but can still move people's hearts with their sincerity and delicacy. The connection between Meimei and Yulong, whether it is called friendship or something more, has become a beautiful testament to the fact that sometimes the things that are not said are the most profound and sincere. Whether they will go public in the future or not, fans have already had an inspiring model of love where there are no tricks, only eyes, gestures, and quiet understanding between two people. And so, they will forever be a beautiful mystery in the public's heart, a love story that does not need an explanation because that silence is already an affirmation. The unspoken bond deepens. As the whispers of Meimei and Yulong's connection continue to captivate fans, new moments emerge that further fueled speculation. Their subtle interactions, though never overt, painted a picture of a bond that seemed to grow stronger with time. At a recent environmental conference hosted by the same wildlife protection organization where their story began, Meimei and Yulong were both invited as guest speakers. This time, they shared a panel discussion, seated across from each other. Observers noted how their responses seemed to complement one another, as if they were in sync without needing to rehearse. When Meimei spoke about the importance of preserving natural habitats, Yulong nodded subtly, his eyes fixed on her with an intensity that spoke volumes. Fans on social media later dissected a clip where, during a brief pause, Yulong adjusted his chair slightly closer to Meimei, a gesture so small yet so telling. Another intriguing moment came during a charity auction event. Meimei donated a signed script from her latest film, while Yulong contributed a rare first edition book from his personal collection. When the auctioneer mentioned that the book was one of Meimei's favorite novels, the camera caught her surprised expression, followed by a shy smile directed at Yulong. He returned a quick, knowing glance, and the room buzzed with unspoken questions. Fans later discovered that the novel was one Meimei had referenced in a 2020 interview, describing it as a story that felt like home. The coincidence, or perhaps intention, added another layer to their enigmatic connection. Their shared interests continued to surface in unexpected ways. On a quiet Sunday, Meimei posted a story on social media featuring a serene lakeside view with a single lotus flower in the foreground. The caption read, "Finding peace and stillness." Hours later, Yulong shared a sketch he had drawn of a lotus flower, with a caption, "Beauty and simplicity." The timing and thematic similarity sent fans into a frenzy, with many speculating that they had spent the day together, perhaps reflecting by the same lake. While no concrete evidence confirmed this, the parallel post felt like another piece of their silent dialogue. A growing tapestry of clues. The online community, ever vigilant, began to weave these new moments into the existing tapestry of clues. A fan account dedicated to tracking Meimei and Yulong's invisible flow gained thousands of followers, compiling every detail into a timeline that read like a romantic novel. One post highlighted how both stars had been spotted wearing matching leather bracelets with a small, engraved charm shaped like a leaf. The bracelets appeared in separate photos, Meimei's during a casual coffee shop visit, and Yulong's during a film set break, but their identical design sparked debates about whether they were a shared gift or a quiet symbol of their bond. Another discovery came when a fan noticed that Meimei's latest music playlist, shared during a live stream, included a song Yulong had performed acoustically at a small venue months earlier. The song, an obscure folk tune about two souls meeting under a starry sky, was not widely known, making its inclusion feel deeply personal. Fans speculated that Meimei's choice was a subtle nod to Yulong, especially since he had described the song as a story I wish I could live. At a recent film festival, where Meimei's latest project was showcased, Yulong was seen in the audience again, this time seated in the back row, almost out of sight. He clapped enthusiastically during the standing ovation, and a fan's video captured him lingering near the exit, as if waiting for someone. Moments later, Meimei emerged, and though they didn't interact publicly, their shared smile as they passed each other was enough to reignite speculation. The festival's official photographer later shared a candid shot of the two standing at a distance, each glancing at the other while surrounded by a crowd. The caption read, "Sometimes, the quiet moments speak the loudest." Supplementary notes, the power of subtlety. What makes the connection between Yang Meimei and Yulong so compelling is not the grand gestures or public declarations but the delicate, almost imperceptible ways they seem to acknowledge each other. Their story resonates because it defies the typical showbiz narrative of flashy romances and staged interactions. Instead, it's a tale told through glances, shared tastes, and moments that feel private even in the public eye. Fans have dubbed this their language of silence, a way of communicating that doesn't rely on words but on mutual understanding. This subtlety extends to their professional lives as well. Meimei, known for her introspective roles, has spoken in interviews about valuing authenticity over fame. Yulong, similarly, has emphasized the importance of staying true to oneself, even in an industry that thrives on spectacle. Their shared values, evident in their support for causes like wildlife conservation and their preference for understated, meaningful projects, suggest a compatibility that goes beyond coincidence. The lack of confirmation about their relationship only adds to its allure. In an era where oversharing is the norm, Meimei and Yulong's restraint feels like a rebellion against expectation. Fans respect this choice, often expressing that they don't need a public announcement to believe in the connection. As one commenter put it, their silence is their strength. It's like they've built a world just for the two of them, and we're lucky to catch glimpses of it. Whether their bond remains a friendship or evolves into something more, Yang Meimei and Yulong have crafted a narrative that feels timeless. Their story is a reminder that the most profound connections don't need to be shouted from rooftops. They can exist in the quiet spaces, in the unspoken, and in the moments that only those who pay attention can see.